Imagine an elephant-sized sloth with claws like daggers. Sound like something out of a fantasy movie. Well, this creature was very real, and it roamed our planet not too long ago. Meet Megatherium, the giant ground sloth that could stand as tall as a giraffe on its hind legs. Today, we're digging deep into the story of this colossal mammal, exploring how it lived, what it ate, and why it vanished from the earth. This isn't just any prehistoric beast. This is a story of a gentle giant with a secret weapon. So, grab your explorer's hat, because we're about to journey back in time to the age of megafauna. Let's set the scene. We're in South America, anywhere from 5 million to about 10,000 years ago, during a period spanning the Pliocene and Pliocene epochs. The landscape is a mix of sprawling grasslands and woodlands, and it's here that our star. This is where Megatherium americanum called home. Megatherium means great beast, and that name really fits. Standing on all fours, it was about the size of a modern African elephant, measuring up to 20 feet, or 6 meters, in length from nose to tail. When it reared up on its powerful hind legs, supported by its thick, muscular tail like a tripod, it could reach heights of over 13 feet, or 4 meters. This allowed it to browse on leaves and branches that were far out of reach for most other herbivores. Now, let's talk about its weight. Scientists estimate this behemoth could weigh up to 4 tons. That's 8,000 pounds. To support this incredible bulk, Megatherium had a robust, heavy skeleton with massive hip bones and thick, strong legs. Its feet were enormous and pointed inwards, meaning it likely walked on the sides of its feet in a slow, shuffling gait. While it might not have been a speed demon, its sheer size would have been an incredible deterrent to most predators of its time, like the formidable saber-toothed cat. Who would want to mess with a fortin animal that could literally look down on you? But the most iconic feature of Megatherium has to be its claws. On each foot, it sported long, curved claws that could grow up to a foot long. Now, you might be thinking these were for hunting, but hold on. Despite these fearsome-looking weapons, all evidence points to Megatherium being primarily a plant-eater, an herbivore. So, what were these giant claws for? Well, they were the ultimate multi-tool. Megatherium would use them to hook and pull down large branches to feast on the leaves. They were also perfect for digging up roots and tubers, adding some variety to its diet. And, of course, they served as a formidable defense, while it preferred a leafy meal. If a predator got too close, a swipe from one of these claws would be devastating. It was a clear message. Stay away from my lunch. So, what was on the menu for a giant ground sloth? Based on fossilized dung, known as coprolites, an analysis of their teeth and jaw structure, we know Megatherium had a varied plant-based diet. They were browsers, primarily eating leaves, twigs, and shoots from trees and shrubs. They had a long, prehensile tongue, much like a giraffe's, which they could use to expertly strip leaves from branches. Their teeth were simple, peg-like structures that were constantly growing, perfect for grinding down tough plant material. Some theories even suggest they might have been opportunistic, using their size to scare predators away from a kill and snag an easy meal. However, the overwhelming evidence points to a life spent peacefully munching on plants. They were the ultimate landscapers of the ancient South American plains. Living as a giant had its perks. Few animals could challenge a full-grown Megatherium, but this wasn't the only member of its family. Megatherium belonged to a group of animals called xenothrons, a unique group of animals, which also includes modern-day sloths, anteaters, and armadillos. During the Pleistocene, South America was home to a whole host of giant ground sloths of various shapes and sizes, but Megatherium was one of the largest and most famous. It was part of what we call the megafauna, the collection of giant animals that characterized the last ice age. Imagine a world where you could see not only giant sloths, but also massive armadillo-like creatures called glyptodonts, and huge, flightless terror birds. It was a truly wild time to be alive. So, how did this colossal creature interact with its environment and other animals? Well, its immense size meant it had a huge impact on the ecosystem. By pulling down branches and digging up roots, it helped shape the vegetation, creating clearings and influencing plant growth. This, in turn, would have affected the habitats of smaller animals. Its sheer presence would have been a spectacle. Paleontologists believe Megatherium was likely a solitary animal, or perhaps lived in small family groups, much like elephants do today. Can you imagine the sight of one of these giants slowly lumbering across the plains? Its massive form silhouetted against the setting sun. It's a powerful image of a lost world. One of the most fascinating questions is whether Megatherium ever encountered early humans. The answer is a definite yes. The first humans arrived in South America towards the end of the Pleistocene. During the final chapter of the Megatherium's existence, archaeological sites have been found that contain both Megatherium bones and human artifacts, suggesting our ancestors not only lived alongside these giants but also hunted them. For early humans, taking down a 4-ton Megatherium would have been an incredible feat, requiring teamwork, strategy, and courage. A successful hunt would have provided a massive amount of food, hides, and bone for tools, sustaining a group for a long time. It is mind-boggling to think of our ancestors facing off against such a beast with nothing more than stone-tipped spears. This brings us to the great mystery. Why did Megatherium go extinct? Around 10,000 years ago, at the end of the Pleistocene epoch, Megatherium, along with most of the world's other megafauna, disappeared forever. There are two main theories about what caused this mass extinction, and the truth is likely a combination of both. The first is climate change. The end of the Ice Age brought rapid warming, which drastically altered the environment. The woodlands and savannas that Megatherium relied on for food began to change, and the plants they ate may have become less available. As a large animal with a specialized diet and slow reproductive rate, Megatherium would have been particularly vulnerable to these environmental shifts. The second major factor is human pressure, often called the overkill hypothesis. As humans spread across the Americas, they became incredibly efficient hunters. The megafauna, having evolved without a highly intelligent Tulucine predator like us, were likely easy targets. They wouldn't have had the instinct to fear humans, making them vulnerable. The combined stress of a changing climate and persistent hunting by a new, formidable predator was likely too much for the giant ground sloths to handle. Their slow, lumbering nature and massive size, once their greatest assets, may have ultimately contributed to their downfall. The story of Megatherium is a powerful reminder of how dynamic our planet is. It shows us a world where the rules of nature were different, where giants roamed the land. The discovery of its fossils in the late 18th century completely changed our understanding of life's history. It was one of the first fossils to prove that species could go extinct, a radical idea at the time. It opened the door to the field of paleontology and our quest to understand the deep history of our world. Every bone we uncover tells a piece of this giant's story, a story of adaptation, survival, and eventual extinction. It serves as a cautionary tale about the delicate balance of ecosystems and the profound impact that both climate change and human activity can have on the natural world. So, the next time you see a 2-toed or 3-toed sloth hanging lazily from a tree, remember its incredible ancestor. Remember the 4-ton giant with dagger-like claws that once shook the ground of South America? The Megatherium may be gone, but its legacy lives on in the fossil record, firing our imaginations and teaching us invaluable lessons about the history of life on Earth. It was truly a great beast, a magnificent chapter in our planet's epic story. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the Age of Giants. I hope you found the story of Megatherium as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the incredible creatures that once inhabited our world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into prehistory. Let me know in the comments what ancient animal you'd like to see us cover next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.